I am sick and tired of my subs telling me, Maze, I get my life dotted away every single game I play. So I made an entire defensive ebook. This here is part 2. If you missed part 1, I highly recommend going back and watching it so you're all caught up and you don't miss anything. Also, a lot of my viewers are not subscribed to the channel. So if you like videos like this one, do me a favor, go down and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It's free. You can always unsubscribe at a future time if you feel like you made a mistake. Enjoy the video. If you guys are sick of wasting money on packs, go check out my sponsor. They offer the cheapest and most reliable way to buy coins straight from the source. Use code MAZE at checkout for 15% off your entire order. What is going on, boys? We are back with part 2 of the defensive ebook. Like I said, if you haven't seen part 1, I highly recommend going to watch it. What we covered in part 1 was personnel, audibles, and everything for our cover 3 portion of this defense. So everything we use a cover 3 shell for, that was covered in part 1. In part 2 today, we're going to review the personnel and audible stuff very briefly, and then we're gonna get into cover 2 shell. I don't really know why cover 2 hasn't really been meta this year at all. Everybody's been operating out of cover 3 and double Mabeling both sides, but you can easily double Mabel out of cover 2 as well, and I honestly think cover 2 might even be better than cover 3. So I use cover 2 just as much as I use cover 3. I alternate between the two quite a bit, and it's good to keep your opponent on their toes so they don't really know what to expect, even something as basic as the shell of the defense you're running. So once again, if you haven't watched part 1 of this video, I recommend doing so you're well versed in the cover 3 and cover 2 portion of this defense, and you can alternate between the two. In part 3 of the defensive ebook, which should be up in a couple days, I'll be going over the man coverage and match coverage portion of this defense as well. I don't run those nearly as much, so it's kind of like the tertiary portion. I usually alternate between cover 2 and cover 3, and that's really good at throwing my opponent off. They don't really know what to expect most of the time. We covered personnel and audibles in part 1, but I'm going to recap it really briefly right now. We are going to be running nickel 335 normal with 8 DBs on the field, and then we're going to be audibling every single time to nickel 335 wide, so we get the extra 2 DBs in spots for the outside linebacker position. Also, those 2 outside linebackers are going to have 1 step ahead. So once again, come out in nickel 335 normal, audible to 335 wide. Your life will be easier. Additionally, at the end of the video, I'm going to be going over some weird cover 2 setup. It's like a cover 2, cover 3 hybrid that you run out of 335 wide, just straight up with the outside linebackers, how they are. And a lot of you guys have seen me run this on stream and have asked me how I do it. So I'll be describing that at the end of the video. It's not meta. I've never seen anyone else do this, and honestly, it's one of the best defenses in the game, so stick around if you want to learn that at the end. As for the audibles, I went over those in part 1 as well. I told you guys Mike Blitz 3 is the cover 3 shell that we will adjust out of every time, and then Tampa 2 can be one of your audibles as L1. However, you can also make a Tampa 2 out of cover 2 man if you're good with your adjustments. And so if you can do that, swap out the Tampa 2 for cover 4 show 2. That way you have an option to run that match coverage. I'll be getting into that in part 3. But for the sake of this video, just to make things easier, I'm going to have Tampa 2 as one of my audibles. But if you are really good with your adjustments, you don't need it as an audible because you can easily make it yourself. What I mean when I say you can make it yourself is if you audible over to cover 2 man, and you press, obviously we know what a cover 2 man looks like. This is going to be your user in the middle. You can easily put those outside guys in cloud flats and then put your slot cornerback in a vert hook, and then that's the Tampa 2 look right there. And then you obviously do whatever you want with your outside linebackers, but you can easily make a Tampa 2 look out of cover 2 man like I just did. But if you're not comfortable making those adjustments fast enough, I would just have it as one of your audibles, because if you look right here, that's what it looks like as your audible. You can see it looks almost identical, but instead of having to make all the adjustments yourself, you can just, audible straight to it. So what I'm going to do right now is sub in some safeties for outside linebackers. We're going to have Eric Harris and Galden as our outside linebackers. Now, as you can see, this is a strong safety. Eric Harris is a free safety. And then when I audible the 335 wide, they're going to be on the line of scrimmage with 1 step ahead. Don't forget about that. And I'll be cross-manning them all over the field to shut down the most effective receivers on my opponent's offense. I'm also going to put another safety as my middle linebacker. That's going to be my user. So whoever you want your user to be, make sure that's your middle linebacker on the field. And then you can just click on him and adjust from there. I'm also going to be showing you guys this defense against trips tight end and bunch. Those are the 2 most meta passing offenses in the game right now. So we're going to come out on offense in trips. We're just going to call double sail. And then on defense, nickel 335 normal, Tampa 2, and from there, when we get on the field, you're going to press square, D-pad to the left, and you can audible to whatever you want out of 335 wide. We are going to call the Tampa 2, and you can see that's what it looks like right here. We got our DBs who went down to the outside linebacker position, and we're going to adjust from here. So the number one thing you're going to want to look out for if you are running a cover 2 shell, especially against a set like trips tight end where you have a receiver flexed all the way outside the numbers, is the sideline. If you look and we don't make any adjustments whatsoever, we're just going to run a streak down the middle and a streak on the sideline. You're going to see we're going to be able to throw square And a lot of the times, the safety's not going to be able to get there. I didn't even press. It's going to be worse once you press. So if we audible once again to that Tampa 2 out of 3-3-5 wide, and we press, see the safety comes down even further. And now that press from the corner on the outside is going to happen right at the line of scrimmage. And you're going to see square gets open even more. Now, it's practice mode, so he's actually getting there, but I promise you, in Ultimate Team, he is not going to get there. Practice mode always plays a little bit weird, but you got to just take my word for it. He's not going to get there in Ultimate Team. So when we do audible to a Tampa 2 here, we are going to go over audible, and a lot of times I am going to want to press. I always am going to move this guy out like that, and that you might think that might make you susceptible to like inside streaks and stuff like that, but you're usering over the middle, so that's actually your responsibility. You're always going to want to be looking to see if there's a deep post coming across the middle or if there's a streak, because if you're not paying attention to that, it's going to be very easy for them to beat you for a big play right down the middle, and you have no one to blame but yourself. Now, another thing I want to talk about this cover 2 shell, it might seem like it's really easy to bomb, and if someone really knows what they're doing, it is. And from trips tight end, a deep post from this outside receiver 81 is going to do the trick. But against most sets like bunch and stuff like that, it's actually really difficult to get a streak or something down the middle that the safeties aren't going to notice. They're actually going to have deep routes of some kind on the outside that's going to get the safeties to split in order for that to be open in the first place. Because if you just run a deep post by itself, a lot of times if there's nothing pushing the other safety deep, he's actually going to cheat over to the middle of the field and make a play on the ball. So cover 2 in general is a lot better than a lot of people think. The safeties actually do a pretty good job, especially if you got something like mid-zone KO on them. But all that aside, that is your user's responsibility, deep middle. Now, if you're looking and you see nobody deep middle, then you're able to cheat down and play how you want. But again, you just got to be looking out for anything beating you deep down the middle of the field. So now I'll get into this first coverage shell I run out of this Tampa 2. It's going to be very simple. It's just you audible to the Tampa 2, and then you're going to man up the outside linebackers however you want. What I like to do is cross man the tight end and the innermost receiver. So those are where a lot of the passes go, especially the deeper passes. There's a lot of route combo that plays off of that relationship between the tight end and the inside slot receiver, whether it's him running a cross or the tight end running a streak, him running a slant and the tight end running a post over the top of him. There's a lot of different route combos where they interact, and if you cross man them, a lot of times they're going to play better than if you just man them straight up, because they're coming from across the field. It's going to confuse your opponent, and honestly, be a lot just a better coverage shell than just manning them up straight up. So everything else out of this Tampa 2 is stock. I'm actually going to press here because that cloud flat might play a little bit deeper, and I don't want them to be able to check it down to the running back really quickly. But as you can see, it's very simple, just a regular Tampa 2 with those guys cross-manned. If you want to stop the run, you can shift towards the running back, crash out, and then that's going to blow up inside zone. If you hover right here, you're able to shoot this gap. So if I audible on offense to inside zone, I guess it's a RPO here. But on defense, you see it's the same look right here. And I'm going to try to shoot this gap. Yeah, as you can see, I missed the tackle because I'm playing with one hand, but you're able to shoot that gap pretty much every time against any inside zone. If they're running trips tight end offset, which is different than trips tight end, there's a halfback base running there, and that will gash that exact setup I just did. You're going to try to shoot the gap. You're going to miss every time. So what you're going to want to do, if it's halfback base, a lot of people are probably going to try to beat on the base. So I'm going to be in this Tampa 2 again. You're going to want to slide actually away from the running back. So just keep in mind whether they're in trips tight end or trips tight end offset, because that little difference will make a huge difference in the run game. So just once again, it's just the regular Tampa 2 with your outside linebackers cross-manned. And again, keep in mind, they got one step ahead, so they're going to be playing out of their minds out there. Now, kind of piggybacking off this, it's not really a different setup, but you can really man these guys up on whoever you want. If they're playing and they keep beating you with triangle on like a post route or something like that, just man them up on different guys. You see right here, I got the outside linebacker on the left on triangle, the other guy on circle. I could put the outside guy over here all the way on square. That way, honestly, if he runs a deep post, I'm going to show you right now on offense, I'm going to put him, I don't have hot route master, but I'm going to see if there's any plays with a deep post. I don't think I got one. But you can really man them up on whoever you want. You see here, I got outside guy on square, this guy on circle. And because they're cross-manned, they're going to play those crossing routes, slants, and stuff like that a lot better. A lot of times, they'll kind of sit there and wait. And then as the receiver runs into them, they're going to start running with them and not get beat so bad. And you got to keep in mind, someone like square on the outside only can really go into the middle of the field. He can't go further out. So that square receiver can maybe run an out route or something like that, but I got a cloud flat there. And so it's great to man him up from the inside of the field because you know he's always going to be running to the inside of the field. What a lot of people also do that you got to keep in mind is they're going to be motioning over this guy quite a bit or motioning over the other guy. And so if they are doing that and throwing these a lot, then you can kind of mix up who you're manning up and who you're not. But the basis of this defense is cover 2 shell, and then you man up those outside linebackers on whoever you want. So that first coverage I showed you is a very good base defense to run out of this. And then what you also want to do is mix in the blitz and then mix in an extra coverage play. This is going to be a double Mabel similar to the cover 3 defense that I showed you in part 1. And if you guys didn't know this, it's very difficult to blitz trips tight end because it's obviously so spread out. If you do bring in the guys close to the line of scrimmage to blitz, it's very obvious, and there's a lot of holes on the field that they can easily hit their quick reads for. Your user can't cover everything against trips tight end. When it's a compressed set, it's a lot easier to blitz people because everyone's already close to the line of scrimmage. Or close to the center, I should say. So let's audible back to that Tampa 2. I'm going to show you guys how to blitz out of this. We press. So let's say I wanted to blitz normally and I blitzed all my linebackers and then I want to blitz the slot corner. That slot corner on the left side of the field is not going to get to the quarterback for at least, 2 seconds. And that's going to leave your opponent a ton of time to find the open hole on the field. But if you notice in the last one, what a lot of people do, as I said, is you're going to motion over this slot guy. And when they do that, look at where that slot corner comes. He's now right there on the line of scrimmage. And this blitz looks a lot nicer to me. So if they're sending out 5 people, you can spread and crash your line out. You can spread them or crash them to the right and out, or slide them to the right and out. Whatever you want to do, slide them to the left and out. However you want to do it. What I like to do if I know they're going to be passing is I'm gonna spread and crash them out like this. But if I think they're going to run the ball, I'm going to usually go to the running back side like that, so I can also shoot the gap here. But then your main thing you want to look for is the quick streak. If there's no quick streak coming, then you can use your other things, but that's going to be your opponent's first read usually if they notice you're blitzing. But if you've been playing coverage and manning everybody up and they go to blitz, you can kind of let that blitz come in. They're probably not going to have a quick read all set. And if they're continually sending out their running back, you don't even need to send that extra slot guy. I'm going to call that again. I'm going to show you guys. I showed this in the last one. But if you blitz all your linebackers, spread and crash your line, and let's say your opponent is sending 5 routes out like this, they're not blocking anybody extra. I'm only sending 5 pass rushers, so it should be, everything's picked up. But if you hide right here and you just distract somebody a little bit, you're going to have a free pass rusher every single time. So you never want to blitz more people than you need to. If they're sending out the running back every time, do not send your slot corner on a blitz as well. You're blitzing one too many people, and that's a guy you could have in coverage. But I will say a lot of people do tend to block their running back when they're running trips tight end, and so if they are blocking the running back, that's when you're going to want to send that extra guy. So again, audible from 3-3-5 to Tampa 2 3-3-5 wide. We're going to press, blitz all your linebackers, and I never blitz the slot corner until they motion, because that motion takes a long time. So if you notice, they get this guy in motion, and that's when you make your quick adjustment, blitz that slot corner, and now you got an extra guy. And let's say they did block their running back, and you spread and crash like I told you guys. And you're going to see we got guys coming in all over the place. You get the sack. And if your user's good, usually you can hold them off for a second or two so that guy can come in and get the pressure. So to recap very quickly, first thing you're going to do is audible from 3-3-5 normal to 3-3-5 wide Tampa 2. Then you're going to press. Make sure you move this guy out so you don't get dot on the sideline. And then man up those outside linebackers. You can man them up straight up. You can cross man them if you want. That is setup number 1, our base setup. Setup number 2 is simply when you're in Tampa 2, just D-pad to the right, blitz all linebackers, spread and crash your line out. That's what that's going to look like. And then if they are motioning that guy and blocking a running back, then you're going to also blitz your slot corner, right? So that's just throwing in an extra blitzer right there. And then for the final setup, I'm actually going to want to turn on zone drops. And this is something that you guys can run a lot of. And you want to be changing your zone drops and stuff a lot throughout the game. I personally run them on default most of the time, and then if I do want to run a specific setup like a double Mabel that I'm about to show you guys, I'll adjust my zone drops accordingly. So for this double Mabel, what you're going to want to do is go to your coaching adjustments, put your flats at 25 and put your curl flats at 5, and then we're just going to come out in the same thing, 3-5 normal, Tampa 2. And then on offense, we are going to go against, we're actually going to go against bunch because I showed you guys a few against trips. We're going to go against bunch here. And again, same thing to start. Square, D-pad to the left, audible to Tampa 2. Then you're going to press. If you notice, bunch doesn't have that same spread as trips does. So we don't really have to move our safeties at all. They're pretty much in good position as they are. And from here, what you're going to want to do is just put your outside linebackers in curl flats. Boom. It's like, this is like an amazing coverage shell that nobody freaking runs. I feel like nobody runs this. And then you can, you know, in the run game, again, slide towards the running back, crash out. This is going to help you shoot any inside zones from bunch like this. Again, keep in mind, though, halfback base will gut you alive. If you do this, you're going to want to, if they're running halfback base and they're getting you, you're going to want to slide away. The difference between inside zone and halfback base is inside zone is just a regular handoff up the middle. The O-line blocks whoever's in front of them. Halfback base, you actually have this right guard. I can't even get on the guard. But you're going to have the right guard pulling and getting a lead block. And so it's a little bit different, harder to shoot the gap, and it works really well against 3-5 wide. So again, keep in mind, are they running inside zone? Are they running halfback base? And you need to adjust your line accordingly in order to stop those runs. But as you can see here, this is a double Mabel look similar to the cover 3. Your responsibility as user is deep middle, or anything middle really. And you got really great coverage other than that. If we run this play right here, this is actually a zone beater, so this could be kind of difficult to beat. But you see, we pretty much got it all locked down. He could have thrown circle there at the end. But I'll go over that coverage one more time. Square to the left, Tampa 2. Press. Put your outside linebackers in curl flats. And then slide away, crash however you want to do your line. And then that's what it looks like. It's honestly really, really simple. So I'm gonna reset the play. Show you guys how fast we can audible that. It's just going to be done. Like, it literally took me 2 seconds and I'm done already. So you can easily get this off. If you know your adjustments, you're never gonna get caught. And then before I show you that really weird glitchy defense that I was talking about at the beginning of the video, I'm just gonna recap the 3 different types of setups I showed you guys thus far. And this is pretty much what you should rotate to based on the situation if you are running this cover 2 defense. So all of them, you're gonna audible cover 2 to start. The first one is very simple. You're going to man up the outside linebackers on whoever the fuck you want, whoever's giving you problems. So in this case, if it's bunch, I'm going to man up the outside guy on R1, and then this guy from across field, I'll put him on circle. So that's what that's going to look like for setup number 1. Always blitz your user, and then your D-line is, again, whatever you want to do with it. If you want to stop the inside zone, do that. If you want to stop the halfback base, do that. But again, very, very simple for the first setup. The second setup is almost identical, except I mean, not really almost identical, but you're just going to blitz all your linebackers. It's going to look like that. And then if they are blocking their running back, which a lot of people do, you're going to blitz also the slot corner like that. So there you got 6 pass rushers coming in, plus your user to distract somebody. And you see, even though he blocked the running back, we had a guy come in free off the edge because we distracted somebody with our user. And one more thing about this blitz is you should not be blitzing very often. I run this probably, you know, a couple times a drive if I'm running a cover 2. I don't want to continue blitzing him, because once they start blocking people to block the blitz, it's very easy to dot you if you don't have extra guys in coverage. So you want to make sure you're catching them off guard, and this can easily put them behind the chains, and then you play more coverage after that. Or if you catch them off guard, blitz on 3rd down, now they got a 4th and long, and usually they'll end up punting you the ball in that case. And then the final setup is very simple, just that double Mabel. All you're gonna do is put those outside linebackers in curl flats, and if you run something, let's see what I got as my audibles. Verticals, like I'll just hike the ball here. Like, obviously, you could have thrown the running back there for a second, but if you look at the coverage shell, it was pretty nice coverage. Those sidelines are very heavily covered. And so, again, having 2 flats on the sidelines does help to cover any, like, corner routes, any flood concepts. You see we got the guy in the hard flat here. We got the guy in a 25-yard flat right here. And they can't really hit anything on the sideline. And a lot of people, that's where their offense relies on, is passing to the sideline. So if you make them pass over the middle where your user is, it's going to increase your likelihood of getting turnover of some kind, like a user lurk or something like that. And so the final thing I want to show you is a very, very glitchy coverage setup you can do if you want to run 3-3-5 wide, how it is without the extra DBs in there. And I was actually running this for a while, and I still sometimes run this. But basically, if you go over to your packages, you see at the bottom, if I flick my right stick, we're changing between different packages. The safety NB package is going to change the adjustments you can put on your safeties. In a regular 3-3-5 wide, you cannot put your safeties in outside thirds. If you change to safety NB and we just come out in Tampa 2, I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. And it's going to catch your opponents off guard. It's like a cover 2, cover 3. It's like a cover 3 double cloud is what I would call this. And I know that sounds really weird, but you'll understand once I call the play. So this is what our defense looks like. We're going to press. And if you look, if I double tap triangle and I choose either of my safeties, I'm going to choose L1. Outside third is now an adjustment I can put him in from my left stick. So I'm going to put him in an outside third. That's different than an outside half. He's going to play that sideline very different. And I can do the same thing with my other safety. My right stick, put him in an outside third. Boom. Now look at that. And then if I put my inside guy in a third, and I want to user him, Like this is a very, very glitchy coverage shell. Let's say I put the outside linebackers in that. So now we got like a cover 3 double Mabel. These guys are like in the middle of the field, but if you watch, he's still going to get to the sideline. So if this is my user here, and let's say I put this outside guy on a streak. If Eric Harris, who's my safety right, or this is Jeff Heath, if he was my safety in a deep half, there's no way he can play the sideline from here. But because he's in a deep third, watch this. It looks like it's open at first, and that's going to bait a lot of people because they are not expecting a safety to be in an outside third. If they see your safety down low like that and they see nobody covering deep, they're probably going to throw it a lot, and your safety is going to bait the shit out of it and intercept it. And so if you are running a playbook like the New York Giants, which doesn't have 3-3-5 normal, but it does have 3-3-5 wide, and it has big dime 1-4-6, this can be a staple in your defense. And I will run it again. Again, we're in this cover 2. Double tap, get your safeties where you want them. Get that cover 3 shell set up. Make sure you press, and then you can do whatever you want with this. Now, granted, we do have actual outside linebackers in here, so we don't really want to man them up because they are going to get absolutely toasted in man coverage. But if you want to put them in something like this could be a very, very glitchy defense right here. Again, we got a 25-yard flat on the left. We don't have any hard flat on the left, so that's got to be something you're worried about. But then you also got a lot over the middle, and this is actually a very difficult defense to bomb deep. And I know it doesn't really look like it, but you guys got to trust me on this. This is one of the glitchiest defense I've ever used, and I don't see anybody using it online. So a little bit of a bonus coverage shell if you want to throw this in there and mess up your opponents. But this is a beautiful defense, man. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like down below to let me know. I tried to go a little bit faster in here, which might make things a bit more confusing. But part 1, we went really slow over the basics. Part 2, a little bit faster. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. A lot of people answer questions in the comments. Also, you can join my Discord and ask in there. There's always people offering help. And even tweet at me if you got a question. I try to respond to as many people as I can. And I know I can't get to everybody, but I try my best. So let me know how you guys followed along in this. If it was too fast, if it was too slow, if you like the information, just let me know in the comment section, baby. But with that said, I will be seeing you guys very soon.
Now I'm on the outside.